Name is James, and today we will read the next Masion Mystery. Their ghosts stay behind, and the puzzle went on. They love to play music on their tops. What sort of old record player? That was an advancement on the phonograph. How are we supposed to know what the correct term is? Danny wondered as he filmed the crew punch over the table with the parchment on top. Do you think that's what the game master meant when they said follow the books? Kelly stood straight up. Oh my gosh, she said, turning to the camera. You're right, Danny. Real we're literally surrounded by potential resources that could help us figure out what the answers might be. It's just like we're in summer school, Franklin observed. They walked over to the bookshelves and stared, sorting through. When they had to figure out the clue about the dumbwaiter, Matt went to the browser at different section of bookshelves, and so did the others. At first, he wondered that there was too many books to have a hope of finding the correct answer. But after 10 minutes of searching, Becca let out an excited little shriek. I may have found something, she said, pulling a thick book out of one of the bookshelves. This book has a green sticker on the spine. The Game Master's signature color, entitled this High Tech High Tech Gadgets of Old. And she flipped open the table contents. It looked like there's entire things used for music. Everybody rushed over as Becca skimmed through the chapter. Recording player, she said, when she finally found the correct entry. It says here that early visions included turntables, phonographs, and the Victrola. Victrola, Kaylee repeated. I think we've heard about those before. My aunt used to have one that she found at an antique shop. I'm pretty sure. This book said the Victrola is an advancement in the phonograph. Becca went on, word for word, just like the clue. I bet the missing words is Victrola. They rushed over and fill in the blank. Great job, Becca, Matt said. Now we just have to figure out the rest of the space. The other words seem to be a mixture of things, either taken from a book in the library collection or straight from the blueprint itself. The group slowly made by their way the various terms, like the pantry and typewriter and compost bin, while also learning a strange and something broad right arm sailing habits of supposed ghosts that live in the house. Matt tried to tell himself it wasn't too scary, but anytime the house sailed or made a noise, he jumped. Clearly, the game master made up all of this about the ghosts. Ghosts. Frankie said, almost as through to try and convince themselves over their friends, but the Victrola starts playing music all by itself. I might scream. Me too, Matt thought, clearing his throat, and hoping he didn't look like as spooked as he felt. Oh, sorry. We're almost finished, Kelly said, whipping her forehead with the back of her hand. There's only one blank left, but all the of the other places of the house, the end of the map lived red. The ghosts especially loved to hang out in one special place, the room that was above all the others, even higher than the second floor. This room, of course, was the only line in the map list that had an underlying read. The room above all the others. A friend read out. Really is talking about the attic. There's an attic here. Max asked, does this house have an attic? Was the weight of stone and trap without fresh air or snows. Each would be so lucky, he said as he filled in the final word. Max said, they were done. I hate to say it, but having the word attic underlined don't only really mean one thing. We're supposed to go inside else. Well, Becca said, at least we know exactly where to look to find out where the attic is located. Exactly, Haley agreed, looking up to study the blueprint of the wall above the table. Let's see here. Becca's mind spun in nervous circles as she walked Haley, running her finger over the drawing, trying to find anything marked attic. The map left blue, pattern designed for Becca specifically. So that meant that there was something still waiting for her somewhere in this house. She remembered the story of the two ghosts and the story on the parchment and shuddered. She could only hope that whatever was waiting for them in the attic was reserved for Matt. Sorry, she's Matt, she thought as she turned to look at him. He gave her an enthusiastic thumbs up. Despite looking like he was feeling a bit ill, at least he wasn't alone in her feelings. Haley said after a few more moments. It looks like the attic is actually directly above the room we're in right now. We should look around for entrance. The book labels it as a trap door, so I'm guessing it'll be somewhere on the ceiling. The group spread out to scan the ceiling, the sick feeling of dread in Becca's stomach only growing heavily with every step. She tried to distract herself by thinking about what she'd do as soon as she got out of here. Go home and clean up, eat whatever Dad had cooked for dinner, tell her family good night early, and head out to her room. Only to watch YouTube videos from the comfortable of her bed and until she fell asleep, safe and warm, and wrapped her softest blanket. The sound like heaven. I think I found it, Candy called, breaking Becca away from her daydream. The game master can't keep you here forever, she reminded herself. Finish strong for your friends and for Elephant and Nutshell. Nutshell, frankly, so Dandy said. He tilted his camera up to the trapdoor, outlined in the ceiling. Over the back corner of the room, there seems to be a problem though. I'm currently looking at this thing zoomed in my camera. It looks like a keyhole embedded on the door. Does anyone have a key? Do you still have the red one? I left it in the door to the mudroom. Matt said with a frown, nervous that he had done something wrong. Shoot, what if I supposed to bring it with me? It's doubtful that the same key would work on both mudroom door and this attic trap door, Kelly assured him. Maybe we missed something on the mat lid, or maybe there was a key hidden in one of the books. Becca thought hard for a minute, then suddenly realized that she knew exactly where the key is. Frankly, she said, do you still have that key from the dirt cake challenge? How could I have forgotten? Frankie cried, reaching into their pocket and pulling out the key. It's right here. That has to be, Becca thought hopefully. What else would be the key? The key V4. Yes, Maggie cheered. And no search required. Nice, very nice. Now the real question is, how am I supposed to reach that trap door? Frankie said, walking in circles beneath it. I mean, I guess I could climb on this bookshelf, but it's really high. But I think I could do it. Maybe I could just pop my head into the attic for 1 minute, look around to see if I can spot anything unusual. You're in gymnastics, Becca. Becca, would you be willing to spot me? For Becca breathed a sign of relief. Less, frankly, for volunteering to be the one to check out the attic first. Spotting she could do. She could practically spot in her sleep. Frankly, carefully climbed on the shelves until they had finally reached the top. The bookshelves creaking under their weight, but holding strong. Becca stood below, ready to dash to catch if necessary. Frankie took the key from their pocket and reached up to cautiously try on the trapdoor. Becca watched as the key sank into the hole, then turned easily. The loud click all even down on the floor. It worked, Franklin cried excitedly. They pulled down the key to create a small space between the end of the trapdoor and the ceiling. Then pull then pull it down until a small ladder slid down to reach the top of the bookshelf. I'm gonna peek in. Be careful, Danny said nervously as he filmed Frankie. One misstep, then you could, one misstep could send you flying. We don't need 3 ghosts in this house. Not funny, Frankie said. I can't think of anything worse than being in this house forever and ever. Forever and ever. I'd rather haunt the school. That says a lot. I've got you. Becca called up to assure Frankie. What do you see in there? Franklin carefully climbed up the first few steps of the ladder, poking their head in for a moment before reaching a hand inside. There's a note from the game master, they called down. I'm gonna drop it down. A moment later, a piece of paper fluttered that Franklin Becca's feet. Bent down to grab it, so Becca could keep her eyes on Frankie. After he opened it, Becca heard Matt sucking in air through his teeth. What is it? She asked without looking down. What does it ask? What your fear? No, Matt answered in his quiet voice, like he had real toner to share whatever it was that he read. It says without George. Becca's heart skipped a beat. Hang on to something for a second, Frankie, she called, bringing her eyes down at last to look at the unfolded note in Matt's hand. What is Becca Zamolo afraid of? No, she whispered, no. Becca knew this time would come. Heck, she even had a feeling in her gut when they first started. Searching for the trapdoor that this clue might finally be the one to call her out. But that didn't make it any easier to consider the ask the game master question. There's no way the game master could have figured out her real world fear, right? Except they figured out everyone else. Shoot, are you Matt asked gently. You kind of look like you're about to rap. I'm fine. Becca insists, but suddenly her stomach was turning from fear and too much dirt cake. Maybe you should all come up here, Franklin called down. Starting to see nothing but the stardust. It's not a stupid ghost story. I think it's getting to me. Stay put. We're on our way. Maggie called up, taking it upon himself to be the next climb up the bookshelf, then into the attic. After Maggie and Kenny went up, as soon as Kenny had finished, Danny followed, his camera hanging from the strap that was looped around his neck. "Mm, Do you want to go next?" Matt asked Becca when they were the only ones left, "or should I?" "I wouldn't mind if you do," she whispered, fearing that might be waiting for an attic. "I'll come last." "Whatever your fear is," Matt said, I'm. I hope you know you're going to get through it. We're all here for you." Becca's heart swelled with gratitude for her amazing friends. "I know you are," she said, mm, at least feeling a bit better from his encouragement, "and I appreciate it more than you'll ever know." Matt grinned before scurrying up the bookshelf to meet the others. His parting words left Becca with very little movement as she needed, and she decided that she was ready. Carefully, she began her climb up the bookshelf, her foot slipping on the second step. As she got higher and higher, he tried not to look down to the floor of the library. "Hey, Becca," Danny called down as he filmed her stepping onto the ladder to the attic. "You never did tell us what is you're most afraid of." Becca bit her lip before answering. Her fingers wrapped tightly around the ladder rungs as she climbed. "Oh yeah, that," she finally answered, a fresh sweet breaking out from her head. "The answer is clowns." "Clowns," her friend called out. Altogether, their voices lack with the beginnings of panic. "Clowns are absolutely terrifying," May agreed. "Gee, Becca, why couldn't you been afraid of like puppies?" Becca burst out into nervous laughter as he finally finished the climb to the attic, looking around with her eyes for a few minutes that just the room was large, with thick beams that stretched diagonally over the ceiling. It was even dustier than the living room. Dust bunnies and cobwebs gathered in massive clumps over the floor. The corners of the room, there were a few boxes scattered there, here and there, unmarked in piles. Does it make anyone else nervous that the only thing was afraid of making said if the game master was hiding up mm, here dressed in a clown suit and want to freak out? "Oh, so would I," Frankie nodded as they stood up, finally able to see enough. "Hey, Danny, maybe you could turn the light from your camera." "It's like you to read my mind," Danny said, flipping the switch and standing to join Frankie. "Let's check out the attic then." Kelly, Mayhew, and Matt joined Danny and Frankie, but Becca lingered behind, anxiously scratching her arms as she looked around the room with starting eyes. She thought that Maggie was probably joking about the game master hiding out here dressed like a clown, but the very thought scared Becca so much that it made it hard to walk. She thought about the first time she realized she was horrified of clowns. Her parents had taken her to the county fair, and that she'd insist that she was big enough to go through the funhouse all by herself. They tried to talk her out of it, but she'd always been headstrong, and she assured them over and over that she'd be fine. And when they finally agreed to let her go inside, she couldn't have been more excited. She went through the shake house and used the bouncy bridge without issue. Then she found herself in the mirror maze. surrounding by endless reflection of herself, and kept accidentally walking into the trick walls. Apparently, the people running the ride were able to see Becca struggling on the security camera and sent someone into to help lead her out. That someone had been a clown, and Becca hadn't realized that he was there to help her get out. She was convinced that he was coming to kidnap her and drag her even deeper into the funhouse. Even time the clown had rushed forward to try to get Becca, she screamed and dodged further into the maze. Eventually, the clown chased her out of the funhouse, and she ran to her parents, screaming, tears running down her face. Even since then, she hadn't been able to look at the clown without remembering the terror experience of that night. There's a lot of stuff here, Henry noted as the bigger group moved through the attic. It'll take us a bit to look through. Nacho? Or maybe call gently, as little as a snake, but somehow answer him. Elephant, are you here? Becca realized that she needed to get closer to her friends. With the With one last look behind her to make sure that there was nobody there, she stepped toward them only to catch sight of a strange-looking box. While most of the other boxes in the attic were made of cardboard, this one was made of shutter material, painted bright red with a yellow star on the side. Did you see this box? She called to her friends. Maybe there's a clue inside. Everybody turned back. Jenny pointed to the light at Becca as she approached the box curiously. At first she thought she was imagining it, but as she bent down to pick up the box to listen closer, Becca realized that there was a soft ticking noise coming from inside. There's something in here, she said excitedly, right at the same moment as the top flew off and the box loudly enough to make Becca's heart skip a beat in the chest. She realized it was far too late. The massive mistake she made Im- immediately after the top was off the box. A top half of a terrifying clown popped up in front of her. His arms reached out, mad laughter ringing from his open mouth. Its hair was electrically orange and wild and spiky and fuzzy at the same time, and its eyes made up its lids crying in thick black inky tears. His mouth was painted candy apple red. The corners reached out. His face was a genuine angel's. Wah ah ah! The clown screamed over and over, never stopping, rocking back and forth, and he reached for Becca. Becca might yell as she was unable to hear him over the sound of her blood-curdling scream. What the? Becca! Matt called again, rushing forward to help pull his friend away. The nightmare's crown. It helped rocking. It kept rocking back and forth with his arm out. Its shrilling and manic laughter filling every extra inch of space in the attic. Come on, Beck, step back. It's not real. Not real, she shrieked, looking at him in shock. There's no way around it. A bit. She was terrified. He felt awful for her. It looked like a giant jack in the box. He said loudly, doing his best to project over the sound of the laughter, looking around the side of the box where the clown spurred from. Damn, that was really something, wasn't it? Are you okay? Becca stared at the clown as in disbelief. The color completely drained from her face. She was still breathing hard. She had over her heart. I think That is officially the most scary I have ever been in my life. She, a clown, scared her this badly, of course, but now that is over. I feel kind of good, really, right? Taking his head from across the room makes you feel stronger, doesn't it? Facing my fear wasn't how I thought it'd be at all. Same, Danny agreed. I felt pretty proud of myself after leaving that basement. I think we're pretty cool for getting through our clues without dying of fright. Seriously, Friendly added, and Maggie nodded and met gulped at the conversation. The group hadn't come across any clues that were made just for him, but maybe the game master had forgotten about him and would be the best case. He wanted to hold on to that hope because the other option was that his worst fear was waiting for him, and he knew without doubt that he'd rather deal with literally anything besides that. The fact that they were in the attic was already making anything besides that. The fact that they were in an attic that was really making him nervous, and it had seemed like the perfect fit for his worst fear. Unfolded the note that Frankie had dropped from the trapdoor. Sure, the clue would be for him whenever it would feel relief. Now that they were here, though, he wasn't getting uneasy again. The cat ran out of juice enough to join the others screaming around the room, searching around the room. I don't see elephant or nacho in here, Maggie said in frustration. We've done so much. How we not beaten the games yet? This is ridiculous. I think we've passed the point of no return. And ridiculously hours ago, Matt said with an empty chuckle. Don't worry, Maggie. We've been through the whole house now. That's true, agreed, looking admiringly. There's something in here. Let's keep looking. Becca said, maybe we should open some of these boxes. Look it out. What's afraid one has had its back. Luckily, there are no clowns or spiders. But that's all for the rest. Many of them is trapped. A few, most of them show a sweet old couple in the last room in the house, smiling at the photographs of the house. In the photographs, the house looks significantly less creepy than it did now. Tidy and cozy, the windows letting in much more sunlight than they currently did, take over with fleet. Matt remembered the ghost story in the map-lift puzzle, and the goosebumps rose over his arms, making his hands stand on end. If the story had been made up, then why were there photos of people that were like what the story had described? There's no such thing as ghosts, he had to remind himself. Meanwhile, Danny went through from person to person, filming their search efforts before moving on, finally landing on a quiet Jack in the Box. Where did the game master even get this thing? he asked, making sure to sweep the lens to cover every inch of the dangerous account with the light on his camera still on. He bent over the edge of the box, trying to get a shot of the inside. Hey, there's something here. They all rushed over. Matt watched as Becca took a deep breath before plunging her arm into the darkness of the box. When she pulled it out, there was a green envelope in her hands. Got it. Becca turned the envelope over. On the front of it, everyone's name was written in a row. Becca, Matt, Maggie, Danny, Frankie. Matt couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. That wasn't only his name on the envelope. Well done, Danny, he said. Oh, who knows how long we would have searched if you hadn't thought to look inside the clown box. For real, Becca said, turning the envelope over to open it. And let's all agree to repeat the words of the clown box over again, shall we? Matt had to laugh at that. He made a mental note to never let Becca forgot about the clown box. Becca removed the two index cards from the envelope. Matt could see from where he was. Standing at each card was a question for over it in the same handwriting that had been used to write the other names. What did they say? Kelly asked, and Maggie turned them so everyone could read. The first card read, "What's the biggest ant in the world?" Second, what bark but no bite? Matt released a breath that he hadn't even realized he was holding another clue. Without inquiring about his worst fear, he started to feel a little less nervous than he had before. These are riddles, Kelly said. Does anyone know the answers off the top of their heads? No, Matt confessed immediately. Not even a little bit. I've always been horrible at riddles. That is the first one I really riddled, though. Maggie asked, staring at the first card. I mean, look at it. Trivial question to me. The largest ant in the world is Dinoperona. It's definitely meant to be a set of riddles, Kelly said, which would mean that the answer isn't going to be what it seems. Maggie said, I think you're right. You're right. I'm not sure what we would do with Dinoperona. Anyway, exactly, Carrie answered. That has to be a play on words somehow. Well, but anyone. The others started throwing around questions, but suddenly Matt became overwhelmed by the task. He was so tired from the day, and the idea of trying to squeeze any effort from his brain to try to solve the riddles seemed impossible. Letting the others getting into it, he quietly stepped back, walking slowly around the attic again, to try to burn off the nasty feeling of wanting to be done with the game. My own, he told Becca after he noticed her watching him walk around. I swear. Sure, she said, the side of her mouth turning up just the slightest bit, but in the direction of attending back to the rest of the group, apparently understanding that he needed a break. Thanks, Bex. Sometimes he still couldn't believe that Becca had become his best friend. He hadn't met That is good. And come from the best game master, Shengas. Can't think of the words that had ants in them. Kelly's spectacle. Throw out anything think of. Chant. Chant can plant elegant, although chant and elegant don't mean anything. That would be they were big and pants, doesn't seem. Anyone can come up with this riddle. Uh, chat in the box of my YouTube channel, and I will give them a free ticket to fly to New York. Well, speaking, well, I think the answer is elephant, right? Either he thought for another second, and then his jaw dropped. Holy cats! I think I have it. I think I saw the riddle. Matt approached a small window in the corner of the attic as the others buzzed in excitement. Set up in front of the window was a small antique telescope pointing in what appeared to be a very deliberate direction. He noticed that the window in front had been wiped clean, cleaner than any other window in the entire house had been. It was considered or had the cleaners done recently. What is it? Kelly asked. What is the biggest animal in the world? Well, I have marked this. This is a riddle. Anyone who had answered will get a ticket to New York. Maggie cried out in victoriously. The riddle had a note. Had a note. Has a note to maybe we're ready. We're already about to find about him and Nacho for real this time. We still have to figure out the second part of the riddle, Kelly said as Melto peered into his eyes. Be careful not to move it at all. Maybe tell us where Elephant and Nacho are. Becca, okay. What is- Suddenly, he noticed Matt hadn't moved. There, Matt, over. Just this time, I will bet anyone who has an answer to this riddle will guess my VinFast car and $2 was kind. Dot. Matt responded, a wide grin slowly spreading over his face as he looked in what he could see through the telescope. What's going on over there? There. You know, you found something interesting. Matt responded with a wide grin, slowly spreading over his face as he took in what he could see through the telescope. Yeah, Becca said with a weird voice. There are things outside called Matt. No, Matt said, looking up from the telescope with a laugh. What has fork but no bite? A tree. No, not a tree. You stupid dummies. And the telescope was pointing directly at the one in front of George. And even better, there's a GM shield spray painted on one of the higher branches. Becca rushed over to the telescope, stepping in front of Matt to get a look. Yes, she cried out. He's right. So the answers to the riddle are dot and tree. I can only guess. That means elephant is in the tree. Didn't you mention something about the clue that had never end up landing? And make you ask something about silkworms and cobwebs in a tree? Do you think that could help with this? Definitely possible, Becca agreed. She slowly frowned as they cracked the code of where to find elephant. Sure, but they were still faced with the same problem as before. They needed to get outside somehow, but as always, they were stuck inside. How were we supposed to get out? She stared at the tree, thinking, so close, yet so far. Then Jenny said with a sigh, I hope we figure out soon. We almost on my last battery for my camera. It's getting too late. It's getting late too. Frank added, I don't have much long before I need to be home for my dinner and mom's on a flip. Becca nodded. There would be trouble if she was late too. I always came home on time. So if she didn't, her parents would know right away that something was up. They'd probably get extra worried and call Matt's parents. And Matt's parents were saying that Matt hadn't gone home yet either. And they'd even be more worried. Same, Mickey said. I bet Angela is probably wondering where the heck I am. I promised him earlier that I play the video games today. Whoops! Hopefully, bring elephant home if to be will be enough to make it. Though this is the best obstacle, Becca said. That tree is the final destination. I just know we just have to figure out how to get there. She looked out the window, picturing an imaginary trail leading from the tree to where they were now. She noticed for the first time that there was a little section of the roof that was punctured out from beneath the attic window. And further down the same section of the roof, the spray paint tree in the patient's tallest branch reached over to touch down on it. We could climb to the tree from the roof, she whispered, looking at the attic window. Without saying another word, she reached her hand forward to push the window, and it opened. The only unlocked window in the entire house. You found a way out, Maggie really yelled. Yes, it's not like we can climb out the window, Matt blurted, his face suddenly a little redder in his cheeks. That's not safe at all. Unless Satan crawl our way into this attic in the first place, Becca said, pushing the window further until there was enough space for each kid to easily climb through. All we really have to do is walk on the roof over the tree branches and climb over onto it. We're all three climbing masters already. I think if the time we want to paint the side of the club tree, that was way more intense than this will be. Once the window was open all the way, Becca was able to spot a note tucked under the frame. More word from the game master. He grabbed the note and unfolded, reading out loud to everybody else. What's Matt Derry afraid of? No, Matt groaned, covering his still red face with his hands. I'd somehow convinced myself that I'd be able to avoid having to face my fear. But of course, I was wrong. The game master just saved me for last. I suggested, What is your fear, Maggie asked. But based on how Matt has surrounded suggested the climbing out the window, Becca thought he probably knew the answer to that. Oh, uh-oh, she thought. This isn't going to easy for him at all. Wait, Matt said, hanging his head down. Becca had guessed right. She looked at the open window again and had to admit the attic over the second floor was really high up. Now they would be able to convince Matt to come with them. A breeze came through the open window, gently blowing her hair out of their face. She inhaled the fresh air, desperate to get out of the stuffy house and leave it behind. First count box and all. What if you just make sure not to look down, Freddie suggested. We can even surround you if you want, Kaylee offered. So you don't even have to see the edge of the roof. If we just walking on the ground until we get to the tree. And what happens if we get to the tree? Matt challenged. We all just climb on branches. You won't fall because climb onto the branches when there's someone both ahead and behind you. So there'll always be someone to hold onto no matter which way you look. Plus, check the roof itself. It's telling slopes down to the same way to the tree. By the time we get to that back corner, we won't be 3 stories up anymore. And if anything, it'll be more like one and a half. Matt looked at the window, thinking it over. Come on, Matt, Maggie urged. We've beat all the games. We've pretty much defeated the game master. This is just the last step. Elephant has been gone for so long. Climbing down that tree will end something that was started months ago. Matt looked hopefully at Becca, who offered an encouraging smile. What do you say? She asked him. Do you trust to help us get out here in one piece? Back to Matt, I, I couldn't jump down on these if I want to. They definitely won't break. Thank you for listening. Uh, remember to solve the riddles. Just one more riddle. Goodbye.